What up? What up? Welcome back to Sneaker Convos. It's been a awesome few days of conversations. Depending on where you're watching this, YouTube, Twitch, maybe listening on the podcast, we've had probably about 20 conversations so far, live podcasts, all sorts of different things. And honestly, like as somebody who has been an observer and a part of YouTube channels in the past, this is one of the conversations I'm actually looking forward to personally because I was able to connect with Bryan and Nacho to be a part of their podcast a couple of weeks back, and to as a fan of sneakers and a fan of sneaker history, obviously creating our content, they have built an impressive, like just incredibly impressive. Like impressive is not enough of a word, right? Like the depth of work that goes into the videos they're creating on their YouTube channel right now, Nacho Average Finds, is so amazing to me. And I wanted to talk to them about that because they also recently just hit 100,000, which is an amazing accomplishment considering how challenging it is to stick with YouTube. So I guess welcome Nacho and Bryan. How you guys doing?
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having us, and I appreciate the kind words, bro.
Of course, of course.
Um,
So, like, when
Yeah,
did
man, I
when did you
appreciate
guys
this
start
morning.
YouTube?
I want us to be here.
uh, we started YouTube. Shoot, man, it was a minute. I think we started in like what 2014,
Oh, damn.
and
Maybe 4 years ago.
maybe about 4 years ago. That's right. And like for like 2 years, we were just at 2,000 subs. Like we weren't really growing, and
Yeah, we didn't
You
grow.
know, we didn't grow very fast. Yeah, anybody who's done YouTube before, will tell you like it's a grind for sure. Like it doesn't matter what kind of videos you're doing. I know the videos that we do are super involved, but like any kind of YouTube work, it's exhausting, and we just kind of stuck through it and tried to just enjoy the process, and eventually kind of struck. We had a couple viral videos with the sneaker history videos. Um, David, do you have some early memories of our YouTube days, our early YouTube days?
Well, the way it started, like I didn't even want YouTube. Tell you the truth, my brother was like big into like this fancy camera. He bought, I think, a Canon 80D, right?
That's right.
And so he bought it, and he, for whatever reason, like I'm a huge bargain shopper, and I mean, I do like sneakers and all that other stuff, but I like sneakers at really steal type prices. You know what I mean? I'm a very, I don't even retail half the time. I pick like under retail, just because I'm a big clearance guy. That's just the way I get down,
Yeah.
And I would start posting like my finds, like cool sneakers at like DDs and TJ Maxx or wherever I would find and stuff. And he thought it was, one, hilarious, and two, he thought it was like it was one of those things where it was like he thought it was interesting enough to document my life. And so he was like, I want to follow you around while you do this. And I was like, and then he thinks I'm like funny and goofy. And so he was like I'd be on camera. So I was like, and I really didn't care. I was like, whatever, what I mean? I don't know how many people are going to see this. And that really doesn't bother me anyway. You know what I mean? I'm not a very shy guy. So he started following me around like these stores, like, just like shopping for like sneakers. And then like when I would pick them up, I would explain like into the reasons of like why I thought they were cool, and like it's like before the whole like resale market started moving. I mean, there was always resale, but like, I'd be like, yo, these are Adidas Campus. This is the reason why these are cool. I remember we used to wear these colors, blah blah blah, things like that. So like that's how it kind of started, and it was cool. Like I already had like a lightweight following G. I mean, like it's a big one or anything, but a lot of it, like it moved over to the YouTube, and then like you get like the 500 subs, then you get the 1,000, and I never saw us like be one of these huge channels. I thought we'd probably like peak at like maybe like 20,000, 10,000, and then suddenly I don't know, like like those videos were cool, right? Those videos were cool, but they didn't have legs in a sense for people to keep watching them. Like they would watch them once and that's it. So our videos would cap at like maybe like a good video would be like 10K, you know, like or 6K or whatever. We just thought it was like that was like cool. You know, it's like, oh man, this how many people like, and we gained like maybe like 13 subs, you know what I mean, per video and stuff like that. But it just it wasn't worth the effort if we wanted to grow, for the simple fact that for one video of those Ross finds, we'd have to hit like every store in our city, like 6, 7 stores, a whole 8-hour day crunch one video. Now, my brother lives in LA. I live in Fresno. And it's like, you know, we weren't planting anything. Like literally, like we'd be like, we gotta find something, and there'd be days where like nothing out there. There's nothing to find. And then I don't know. My brother, he had this fascination with the resurgence of Champion, the clothing line. You know, all the kids start to wear it again and things like that. I mean,
that's right.
For me, Champion's always been fly. You know, I've always liked it. You know, from when I was a kid and stuff like that. But yeah, my brother, he's like, I want to make a video about the history of this. And so I was like, but people know it's for these Ross finds, blah blah blah. And he was like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, I'm gonna do it anyway. And he did it, and it was a complete dud. I think it got like 500 views.
Yeah.
It was like whack, and I was like, see, this isn't gonna work, blah blah blah. And he did it, and he even thought it was a dud, right? He was like, well, whatever, you know. But it was around Christmas time or like the holidays, like, and I remember that I think it was a big publication. I think it was the Washington Post, or someone put our link on their social media, and then rapidly we just grew like overnight. I think we went at like 4,000, like from 4,000 subs to like I think like 15 within like 3 days, and it was insane. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
And then we dropped the video on the Nike Cortez, and then after the Nike Cortez drop, my brother, I don't know if you did this purposely, okay? But he put that the Nike Cortez signature shoe of MS-13. All right, when it's a historically, like, you know, it's a Mexican thing. Obviously, it's a Latin, you know what I mean? Shoe, right? So comments went crazy. Like we got straight like, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. That's a Mexican gang shoe. It's not, you know, and it just blew up. I don't know, like maybe the comments, and it lit up, and it surpassed that Champion video. I think that Champion video ended up moving all the way up to like 400 or 500,000. Like
holy
just
crap!
Always like a mill, you know, and like all the Ross finds videos, like they never reached that kind of popularity like ever. And so it was kind of like within like a 3-month span, I think we grew to like 44. Like and after that we just started dropping like, you know, the videos, you know, the history videos, you know, the Stan Smith, you know, I mean the New Balance, other stuff, and it was wild, and it was just like that's kind of what we became. Because it's weird if you think about it, like the name is Nacho Average Finds, but we don't really do finds anymore. You know, like it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like that's where we got our start, and you know, if we can, you know, we'll go back to that after COVID, but it was just, you know, that's just kind of how it took off, and it grew, and now it's like, for me, almost like a slow burn, because it was like we hit 100K, and we just barely hit 100K, but like, you know, we don't drop like weekly or 3 times a week or anything like that. We drop like every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, just because the videos, one, they take time to you know, to research and then to put together, and then like Brian's like a one-man editing team, and then he's such a perfectionist. I think sometimes he's his own worst enemy, but at the same time, it looks really clean.
I'm not a perfectionist.
You know, so it is what it is. Like, you know,
I'm not a perfectionist at all. Actually, it literally.
But
just
like,
takes
I don't know, like
everybody
compliments him on his edits. You know.
Yeah, they do.
I agree. You know, you do a really good job of the editing.
I'm like,
man, that's. I mean, looking at the video, the end product, you can tell that time's put into it.
So
that's
kind of how it went. You Hello.
Uh-oh.
Gears.
You good?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we got
like,
you.
it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, now we're at a. Okay, hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just like one of those things where like, you know, it's like it's, you know, 100,000. We're from a mid-sized town where not a whole lot of entertainers come from. You know, I think Kevin Federline came out of here, and he was like there for a long time out here. You know, I mean, we got athletes, like, you know, like, but that was it. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody, like, we don't have any, like, you know, Hollywood connections or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, everything is just, if people rock with us, they rock with us. So for a long time, I always felt at least that we're the most known unknown. You know, but that's how I see it. You know.
Facts.
But that's dope though, because like I said,
What do
you
you
guys
think,
are
Brian?
doing something different, like completely different than a lot of other people in the space. That it brings a whole new audience. Because, I mean, I would have been doing YouTube for about maybe a year now, and it's, you know, just trying to find that voice. And you guys, like you say, it took a little while, but you found it, and now you know, hey, we are great at this. We can sneak in those finds every so often when the world kind of gets back to normal. But people look into those videos now for the history, they can keep going back watching over and over again. It's not like, oh, I picked up this Jordan. All right, well, that's past now. I don't really want to watch that review anymore. So
Yeah.
that's dope that you guys found something that's timeless in a sense.
Yeah, and that was the whole idea, was to like try to, you know, create something that that we could scale in kind of a way, and it kind of became the opposite of that, to be honest, because like I said, it takes, you know, up to 2 weeks to produce one video from start to finish. And it's just, it, you know, my Nacho, he doesn't edit or anything. He kind of, he hosts, and he has character, and he's kind of star power. But I'm literally editing over here, like by my own, on my own, and I got a day job.
I'm the hype man.
And he's the hype man.
Here you go.
He's like Memphis Bleak. Damn, we're old, bro. Anyways,
I was like, man, I ain't heard that name in a minute.
Stop
Yeah.
it. I'm more like I'm like Danny Boy O'Connor from like House of Pain, and you're Everlast.
Hey, there you
You're
go.
too young to know that, but you know, just know that I'm
Hey, look,
you know,
I can't figure out how to
Flavor.
I can't figure out how to point on camera, but I got the Coca Nostra deck right there.
right there on the bottom. That's what's up.
So
Oh,
Brian,
nice.
were you doing
I still have
editing
my
stuff?
token, like I still have a really old.
You got some Coca?
I think we're just a little lag. I think it's just his is lag.
No,
a
I
little
got
bit
Coca
lag
Nostra
enough.
shirt in my closet somewhere.
Nice. Back like the early days when
Yeah, bro,
when
I'm
Stick
primitive
Jackin
over
was
here,
in
man.
there.
Sorry. I mean,
Yo, it's all good.
dude,
What were you?
I love Stick Jack. I
What were you
love the
saying, Nick?
cycle. All them boys. You mean?
Yep. Yeah, Brian, I was gonna ask, like, are you teaching yourself how to edit as well? Like, is that part of the, you know, because like, how'd you get into like that side of it, right? Because, you know, Mike and I doing videos and me doing the podcast, I don't have like any technical background in it, but I've used, you know, Adobe products and Photoshop and those things for, you know, a decade plus regularly. And, you know, I'm still in the process of learning, you know, the editing stuff, both on the audio side and on the video side. How, you know, I follow you enough to know, like, you have a little bit of a music background too. So like, does that come into play? And is that part of why you got into the editing side of it?
Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. I did teach myself how to edit, but it was more of like a, it was kind of like I wouldn't say it was self-destructive in a way, but it was definitely like, I was really trying to make music a living. I was trying to make a living doing music. I wanted to be a composer, like for film and for TV and video games and stuff like that. And I was trying and I was failing, and I was doing these small projects that weren't paying that much. And, and I was just frustrated. Right. And without even knowing it, like, because I had been doing this for so long, like I went to music school, and music was my life, and it was my identity. It was who I was. And without even knowing it, I was getting bored of it. Like, and I was avoiding it, and I was just trying to, like, I was just binge watching YouTube, and And one day I was like, I want to try to get into photography. So I don't know why I wanted to get into photography. I just didn't want to do anything with music anymore. And I got a camera, like David said, and I started like walking around LA taking pictures, like trying to do street photography. And I kind of like learned the like for people who know photography, I learned the exposure triangle, which is like the fundamentals of operating a camera, whether it's digital or analog. And I learned that, and then that's when I turned the camera on to David, my brother Nacho. Nacho, his stage name, his real name is David, and we we started doing videos, and I had no idea, I had no idea about editing. I just literally, I remember watching the first video I watched. It was called like How to Learn Adobe Premiere in 20 minutes or something like that. And I watched it, and it was just like, it was like this whole new path. It was like this rabbit hole I could go down and kind of get lost. And through that, I kind of found like a new identity, and now I'm bored with editing almost. It's pretty exhausting. Like I want to learn how to do After Effects better, and I completely just taught myself, and I've always been that way with things. And and definitely music does inform it, especially now with the podcast. Like editing, like setting up this mic or whatever to record this took, like, for me, it's like a second language. Like for another person, they might be like, how do you set up a mic? Like, what is phantom power? What is this? Like, I already knew all that stuff because of music. So like the podcast is easy for me. Like, I can edit it really fast in Logic Pro. I know Logic Pro like just as good as I know Adobe, maybe even better. So definitely the music background helped, and just the creative decisions that you have to make when you're editing a video is the same. It's all the same muscle that you're flexing in your brain. It's a creative muscle, right? So definitely the music background, I would say, that really helps with like just making a decision and not being a perfectionist about it, and just kind of like just finishing things. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I would be like stressing out, making sure everything's perfect. But I know that even in music, it's the same way. Like you write something, and you're either gonna stay on the same melody or chord progression, and you're gonna get stuck on that for months, or you can just say like, this is good enough, and put it out. And it's subjective anyway. Like the person listening, like you guys said, like Mike, he liked the DC video. And also when I showed it to Nacho, he loved it too. But for me personally, like when I put it out, I was like, damn, this is one of the worst videos I've ever made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it
That's
doesn't
such an
matter. It doesn't matter what I think.
Interesting part of it too, right? It's fascinating, not to cut you off, but it's fascinating because so when Mike and I obviously been doing the Sneaker History podcast for a while, we talked about that like kind of in the beginning of around like trying to figure out what you can talk about in sneakers that actually makes sense and gets results that actually you feel good about, but also results that you get the feedback and the positive, the views, the likes, the comments, all that stuff, because it's also subjective, right? Like the product or whatever you're talking about doesn't necessarily matter that much in the long run, right? Because to Mike's point earlier, it's almost like it's great that you guys didn't go down the path of here's a new sneaker, here's like you're testing all these different things, because everybody tries to do that, right? And what's funny is like, speaking about YouTube specifically, I remember like having a conversation with Mike a year ago about what's the shoe, Mike? That first video that kind of popped off a little bit for you.
It was the crazy BYW X2. It was the Adidas basketball shoe that really no one was talking about in the States. It was really popular in Asia. Ubik did a collaboration, but they were just sitting around, and it was one of those things. That was like my third or fourth video I ever did. It, for having maybe 100 subscribers, it got to like 5,000 views, which that blows my mind still. I'm like, man, I love that, because I'm still starting, but I'm trying, like I was telling Nick, I'm like, I think I'm going to go down the path of finding not necessarily obscure things, but things that don't get attention, because I feel like those are like unserved items. And things that normal people can get, as opposed, oh, I could talk about Dior ones all day, knowing dang well I ain't got 10 grand to spend on it. And I know the person I'm talking to, 90% of them don't either. So it's, again, just trying to find that lane and trying to like work within it and kind of tool and go back and retool, because I can't even begin to say how many times I made a video of like, this is actual trash. But just I always, everybody I talk to is like, just put it out. I remember I talked to Jock one time. He's like, just put it out. It doesn't matter. You never know what's going to happen. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean the person on the other side, like you saw with the DC video, won't just enjoy the heck out of it.
I didn't even rewatch the video. Like I finished it. I got to the end of the timeline and hit export. I didn't even because I was just so sick of it. I just wanted it out. Like I don't even double check that. That's why like so many of our videos and Nacho will tell you like we get hella hate. Like, yo, you spelled, bro, instead of Adidas Boost, you put Alpha Bounce. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's kind of good in a way because we're getting engagement.
Yeah.
And, but definitely like if we had the option, we would have I would have forced Nacho into making the review videos. We just don't have the product and we're hella broke. So we couldn't get the shoes.
Oh yeah, dude.
We didn't know to get the shoes. Like to this day, we don't get seeded product or anything like that. If we did,
no.
I would consider it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a lot of things. That's the hard part, because
Maybe.
I've gotten lucky. I say I've gotten lucky where I've gotten some love from a couple brands that send a couple things over, and that's, I just kind of thank my blessings on that one, because there ain't no way in the world I can just keep buying shoes all the time. I've been kind of going in this one in, one out. So I have something I see collecting dust, I sell it to go buy another shoe to do the review, because there's no way I can't stack 1,000 shoes in this office, and there's no way. We gotta make sure my family's fed. I can't be giving away. Yeah. Sorry guys, we can't eat today. I had to buy this Jordan. We gotta chill out for a second.
Little Caesar's Pizza for like a month straight.
Same pizza, that one $5 pizza. We're gonna split this for a month.
Nacho. Can you just talk about like what you think about like YouTube, like sneaker reviews and going down that route? Like, how would you feel if we started doing those videos?
I mean, whatever. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not a fan. Been bored with it because like it's like you have like everyone just kind of mimicking the top 5 guys, and so it's just kind of like, I don't know, like you can, if I want to see the latest sneaker or whatever that came out, those 5 guys are gonna pop up, and then everyone else is gonna be a copycat. And I don't know. I really don't. It's like, I don't know. They're boring in a sense. I don't get any of it. It's just somebody's opinion of like, oh, it's a pointy, toe box, and then it's the same exact thing, just in theirs, and it just bores me. And then, oh, let me throw in an on feet, and then some dude has some tapered jeans and he's just walking around, and it's just, I don't get anything out of that. It bores me. There's some guys that are really funny, like Foam is like hilarious to me, because he throws in the jokes and stuff like that. So like out of the big guys, that guy's cool. Like, not to hate on anybody who's having success, and I don't want to come across as a hater, but it's those type of things that just like, they just don't do it for me. Like, I don't, and then one, I don't really buy expensive sneakers, so I'm constantly on a budget. Like, so I care about that new Yeezy. I don't even know what it's called. The one that looks like a spider. Like, what it reminds me?
The Yeezy 450.
Reminds me of, the movie Aliens. The face. Like
the thing that pops on you.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. See, I don't even know the names now. I'm just like, but like, and I like subtle things. I do like collabs and things like that, but it's just, for the most part, I don't know. I guess I ain't hip to like what's really popping. Like, I don't like backward swooshes on Jordan 1s. I don't even wear Jordans really personally. Like, I just like wearable sneakers at this point. Like a New Balance like 998. You know what I mean, or like that. Like, it's more like it has to be wearable. Like, I can't come out here in some Cactus Jacks. It's just, I feel ridiculous rocking them. As a 36-year-old man, maybe that's just my age showing, but that's just about those sneaker YouTube unboxing guys. Like imagine, like me. Hey guys, I got the new Air Max 1. Check it out. It's got green right here on the mud guard and mesh on the toe box. There's the air bubble that's been there for 30 plus years. There's an air bubble that what I mean. Oh look, it looks like what I mean. They added this padded touch from 2 years. It's just it's whatever. It just bores me. And then all people do is complain like, oh, the quality feels cheap, or it doesn't, and it's like, come on, we already know what it's gonna look like. It's a retro. Like I don't know, Nike's been dogging us out for years. Yeah, my opinion. Yeah, I just feel like I'm rambling. But anyways,
it's interesting, right? Because part of it is like let's say Brian turning the camera on you because he finds you entertaining, right? Like with YouTube, we're all kind of trying to figure out who those people are for us, right? Like I've known Fomer for a long time, and like he's as hilarious on camera as he is in real life. Like it's so natural, right? So when you find those people, I think that's, I'm the same way. I don't, aside from like my friends and the people that I'm, proactively going to support and tune in, I don't want to see new shoes because I'm also not trying to buy near as many shoes. Like I actually, dug through your guys' videos like probably like a year ago when I first kind of discovered you guys it was the sneaker history ones that drew me in. But like I'm also that person that I love going to Ross and Marshalls, man. Like pre-pandemic, that's my favorite thing. Like as soon as like I have the opportunity to just go wander, like I just like, I mean, it's probably not the smartest thing to just waste my time and then end up spending $30 or $40 on a shoe that I don't really need. But I really love that. It's like one of my favorite things about sneakers is just being like, oh, this random Puma that's sitting here in this Ross that I drove 45 minutes to go dig through the back, of I found something that I actually like out of it. And that's kind of one of the things that is interesting about the way you guys have like moved into the historical stuff, which I admire because like the mindset that you had to have to try these other things, right, is part of what I think people don't understand about YouTube is like when you see what's out there and what people are doing, it's like I think everybody should watch as much as they can and then take it and make it their own. And also to the other side of the conversation, I think Brian, you mentioned it, or actually Nacho, you mentioned it, right? Like one day you might go back to Ross finds, right? You might be like that might become your bread and butter 2 years from now, you don't even know. But thinking about, hey, we could do these different things and seeing that it catches on with the champion video and then popping in and saying, okay, we're going to do DC, we're going to do the Cortez, we're going to do all these various history videos. It's like it's a part of the learning curve of the system, right? Like as much as like, yeah, the editing part is a learning process, learning how to like actually do, thumbnails, man. Like thumbnails are crazy. You guys kill at the thumbnail game. Yeah. Like absolutely kill the thumbnails. And I don't think people even understand like how much work has to go into that because you're pulling 5, 6, 7 different images. You're layering them together. You're making sure the color's right. And like, I'm guilty of it. Like I do the super basic, like, hey, here's the people that were on. Here's the title. I'm gonna put a red border around it because I think I'm special. But like, it's nothing, right? But also, I like seeing you guys and the work that you're doing reminds me to like take that extra time to go that extra mile because clearly it pays off when you do it. Not to not necessarily in every aspect, but certain things you got to choose to be more thoughtful and more in depth around it. And I think like that's something that the people that are listening and watching this and whatnot, if they're starting out on YouTube, and even Mike and I probably have talked about this, right? Like there's just, you got to find the ways that you can work within that system to take advantage of the things that you could take advantage of to allow you to do the other things, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that if you're starting out in YouTube, you should definitely like spend a day, even if it's 2 days, just thinking about the title and the thumbnail. Because I think like just from based on like I know everybody's journey on YouTube is different, and I know that the algorithm is mysterious or whatever.
No one ever knows, man.
Nobody ever knows. But the truth is like it's the content. It's not really the algorithm, right? It's just make good stuff, and people will find you, and be consistent, which we aren't, but at some point we were. But yes, but the thumbnail and the title, like those are the two things I've found that like I've been able to sort of reel people in that way. Sometimes like you can get a little too clickbaity and people kind of will get upset, and they'll be like, yo, you said I don't know I don't know how I think I made a video on the history of the Converse All-Star maybe, and I titled it like, or we titled it and me and David, we also we talk about this like before we put it out. Like I always bounce titles with him because titles are so important. I think it was like how the Converse All-Star changed the world or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I've had some titles that are like that.
It's not clickbaity though, because that's such an iconic shoe. Like I would see that and be like, oh, okay, it's gonna be about the shoe.
Yeah, but the video, if you watch it, is linear, right?
Yeah.
And I never explain like the why it took over the world or something like that. Right? I'll never. It's literally just like it started here in the 20s. I don't remember, and then it came here, and then West Coast hip hop, and this and that, and it's never like to the point. I think I've made videos that say like why in it, like how I can't think of the names in my head, like why the Air Yeezy failed or something like that. Why the Air Jordan 2 failed. That was when we got a lot of flack for because they were like, did it really fail? And did you even explain why it failed and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
But it got people clicking, and the people who actually enjoyed the video were like, damn, I'm glad I clicked, and they forgot about that. And you really got to reel people in, man. Like you either got to be shocking. You got to ask a question in the title. You have to be shocking, and you have to spice it up. The title has to be spiced up, and then the thumbnail needs to tell a story. You're trying to make YouTube content, you need to be able to put the thumbnail on, and it should be intriguing in a way like I want to know more about this, or like ours, it's kind of a collage of everything that has to do. Like it'll be like I'll have like a black and white. It's supposed to be historical, right? So there'll be a black and white photo of Tinker Hatfield, and behind him is like his sketches, and then to the right is like the Nike Huarache or whatever like that,
Yeah.
And that's what you want to be thinking about when you're making thumbnails for YouTube, I think.
No, it makes sense because it's that first thing that draws you in. Because a lot of time, I mean, no shot to any like in particular person, but people don't read. They're like, "Ooh, picture," click, and they kind of go from there. Just because everyone's in their minds like, I got like 10 seconds or less to figure out what I want to watch. But how do you guys deal with the fact, and that same attention span kind of thing? Because when people are searching through this, that, and the other, it's always, oh, what's the new thing? What's the new sneaker? Because Nick and I will talk about old stuff. And it seems like it is harder to get an audience for something old because it's not the newest thing that's popping up on all of the outlets. Like it's not the Travis Scott XYZ. It's not the latest brown Yeezy, but it's maybe something completely different. But it kind of gets buried because of the algorithm. Because I was reading something. If you go to the drop down and type in like just basic keywords, whatever you're trying to put in, you try to mimic that in your tags to get more views up. So because it's something the most recognizable. But you'll start noticing that again, it's just too old. It's like I feel like there's like a time constraint to certain things you can post, and you guys have clearly beat that because you put a video out of DC. You put a video about Yeezy, Nike, Yeezy with Nike, like things that have happened in the past, but are still being able to garner that following. Is it a type of way you guys are advertising the videos, or how does it work for you guys?
No, it's just storytelling. It's literally just story. Like it's just like any other thing that you're selling. And that's basically what we're doing. We're telling these stories for these like Nike. Like we sold a ton of Nike Cortezes with our Nike Cortez video that got 2 million views.
Cut the check, Nike. Just
cut the check. And it's like and I made it an interesting shoe.
I hope so.
the title, you know, it said like, I think it's like the most infamous shoe, and then I put gangster. I don't know if I put gangster in the title or I put gangster in the and I put the gang dudes in the with the palm trees and the tattoos and stuff in the thing. So people were clicking it because, you know what, there's appetite for people who love to watch like gang documentaries, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and like, you know, they enjoyed it or whatever. Or like the Stan Smith video that we did about the Stan Smith, like a lot of people watch that video and they learn about the history and they're like, damn, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, you know, they feel like buying a Stan Smith after they've learned the history of it. And like, it basically, you can make anything interesting if there's a story behind it. Like,
Yeah.
that I remember when Nacho was talking about me making the champion video, what inspired that was Vox. I don't know if you've ever seen the Vox videos on YouTube. They're like a powerhouse, and they were making, I remember I saw a video about Vox. Like, our style basically is like Vox, but for sneakers. Like, you know, you got the animated backdrops that have like the vintage like film grain over it, and then the image slides in, and everything's like a montage. Basically, it's like a montage, just like a thumbnail but moving. And I remember I was watching Vox videos and I saw a video and it was called like something, it was about granite, like granite countertops. Why granite countertops are so popular in America. And I watched it and it was like about a 6-minute video and I was hooked the whole time. And I thought to myself, damn, like I literally just watched a video on granite tops, and because they told the story about it, like, yo, in the 1980s, and they talked to like some house developers and why it's popular, and it was fascinating. It was an explainer video, and I thought for sneakers, it's the same thing. You know, I could take the newest Jordan and do the same thing, as long as I have enough. I mean, sometimes there's sneakers out there like I wanted to do a video like Adidas, for example.
I think another thing though,
it isn't so grounded in America. It's so European, you know.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of stories behind it, not a lot of cultural connections, and we've been trying to make a video about the campus and the Samba. I don't know those type of shoes, and there's just not enough there. Like when I Google it, like I can't hit up Adidas and ask them if I can interview their designers. You know, I have to like Google everything, and if there's not enough material there, unfortunately, we can't do a video on it.
Yeah.
So, but David, what do you think?
I'm not sure. You hear us?
I think a lot of it has to do with like, because you know you always ask and like, you know, I always like I try to stick to iconic models that are never gonna go. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Air Force One is never gonna die. It may have its downtime, like it did for a few years. Like, you know, they're just never gonna go out. Like, you know, the Stan Smith will always be around. The Adidas Superstar will always be around. You know, the New Balance 990 will always be around. You know, just sneakers that are just timeless and iconic. Like even if they die down or whatever, you know, the video will always be there with the history of it. You know, like, you know, right now I think like the Hirachi was big for a few years, you know, and I feel like those are on the way back. Like I feel like sneakers have like 5 to 6 year shelf lives where they just, especially with Nike, where like they just pump them out. You know, like they're like, oh, we're gonna bring back the Air Force One, and they bring them back in all kinds of.
Oh no, we lost him.
It's all right. Looked like he cut out there. But I think what he's referring to is evergreen content. You know what I mean? Like you want to choose it, and we definitely have a list of shoes that we want to do, and it definitely starts with like the top ones, like the Air Force One, the Cortez, and then like, you know, more mid tier like the Hirachi and stuff like that.
Yep, got you back. Yeah, no, that's a good thought, because you're right, because all those things they have a cycle.
Guys. Stupid internet connection.
You good, man?
Oh, good, man.
Kicks with V. I appreciate Brian saying that. A lot of people don't do the research.
Yeah, like
Thank
you know, like I was saying, like, you know, like the you know, the Puma suede, it will always be around. You know, it may not be as popular, you know, as people think, but you know, that's a timeless classic, regardless of whether it's in the bargain bin or it's always gonna be a timely sneaker. Like those sneakers hit that, you know, like when it becomes just an epic sneaker. You know, the Converse, the Chuck Taylors, the All Stars or whatever you want to call them, like those are iconic. You know, people don't even know who Chuck Taylor is, you know, but you know that sneaker, you know, and it's a timeless piece of history. And like a lot of people just I don't know, I feel like they need to know why these things are cool. You know, why is it that a shoe from 40 years ago is still relevant today? Why is it still into lifestyle where like now? You know, and I try to talk to this like with like random people, like when I see them, like the other day I saw some kid wearing some Grant Hill 2s, some Fila 96s, right? And I was like, hey man, I like your shoes. And he was like, oh man, thanks man, my dad had them when I was a kid. And I was like, dang, I feel old.
You're like,
I was like, that's cool, you know? Like, but I wanted to tell him, like, I was like, but then I thought about it, I was like, this kid he never saw Grant Hill play. He doesn't know who Grant Hill is, you know what I mean? Like he was just like, and he kind of looked at me like, well, yeah, whatever, old man. But I was like, whatever, I'm here if you need to know the history of sneaker, you know?
Hey man, I got about 5 years on you, so I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Like, look, I'm not good at this pointing thing. It's over here. Look,
yeah,
I got Grant Hill 2s right here. But what's funny is I was talking with other people on a panel earlier today, and they were like, nobody wears Fila, and I'm just like,
they're like trying to cover them up, huh? Nope.
I think that's the interesting thing about sneakers, though, right? It's like, you know, at some point, we all kind of went from just wearing whatever we could get our hands on, get our feet in, right? Like, you know, we all kind of grew up in the same, like, look, we might have had $30 for a pair of shoes, make it last for a year, and you might get a new pair kind of thing. And I remember gluing the soles back on my shoes, repainting them, like anything I could to make them feel like they were newer than they were, right? And I think the interesting thing about it is, like, it's cool now. I mean, I'm optimistic about all this stuff, but it's actually really cool now that we can, those of us that want to continue to tell these stories, we can tell stories that, you know, you could have that conversation about the Grant Hill 2s with this kid. Next thing you know, a few weeks later, he's seeing a YouTube video that you've created, and now he's learning about Chuck Taylor's, or he's learning about a Cortez, or, you know, and now he becomes interested in it. And hopefully, you know, like actually becomes passionate about it. And you know, I just love seeing people create around it at the end of the day. But like, it's just like, it's so cool to be able to see the opportunity to have these conversations with people that we would have never been able to connect with without the internet and without things like YouTube.
David, do you remember the Grant Hill video that we made back in the day? Like
yeah,
CNN.
it was like one of our first videos because we wanted this content for the channel. We just were like, yeah, it was dope, you know. But like, people always clown me because I still like Fila, you know. I'm like, well, you don't even understand that. Like Fila was like Gucci to me, you know. It was Italian, yo, like, you know, it was crazy, like, you know. But obviously,
hey, K-Swiss too, man. K-Swiss back in the day was like.
K-Swiss, like,
you know, things like that. And now they maybe have like 3 signature models that people recognize. Yeah.
I just
you
think
remember
that
when they
was
used to
that
give you the
Fila?
sticker? Well, I had all those stickers like on my door.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
what is that? That disruptor. That's the only thing when people think of Fila, they think of this that weird, terrible shoe.
I'm dying over here.
It's all good. It's fun. It's kind of funny to me.
Hello?
It reminds me of CNN.
You said, wait.
Yeah.
Yes, now.
I feel live, like I'm like a combat reporter or something, you know.
It's funny because Brian's over here he's
like
just loving that you're getting tortured right now.
I don't know.
Oh, yo, if we were a host right now, I would be freaking out. I'd be like, yo, disconnect, reconnect, disconnect.
Yo, I pay a lot of money.
Since we're guests, we're good.
What's going on?
We gotta make a call to Xfinity for you, man. We gotta get him fix this.
Yo, Kicks with V said he played in the first
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
Fila 3-on-3 ball
Yeah, I'm gonna need a
tournament.
credit or something. You
Damn.
know what I mean? Like this is not a good look.
They just released the Grand Hill 3s.
Man. OG stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, the Grand Hill 3s were crazy. I remember like the reason, like, you know what I mean? And then the reason why we ran hills back in the days, at least in my hometown, is that big F. And we're from Fresno, so it was like, that was a big thing. Like it was like, oh man. I think people even said like, we made it stand for like Fresno's again or something, you know what I mean? Like something stupid. That was the thing though. But yeah, Filas were a big deal for me. And then it was like, I don't know, I couldn't afford a whole lot of Nikes. I couldn't afford a whole lot of Nikes, so it was fuck. I mean, I always loved Reebok. Reebok was the big thing for me, but Filas were dear to my heart. It was just like, I don't know, I just liked them. I like the navy is probably one of my favorite colors. So the navy and the peacoat red, and then with the white, to me it's just real classy, real nice.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think we're gonna have to get a shirt made that we're gonna have to do like some kind of shirt like Fila flip is gonna say Fila was my Gucci, because I love that, because it totally was for some people, the velour and all that stuff. I mean, that was before my time, but Fila
For
slept
sure
on.
though. Yeah. I would buy that.
What was the one Fila shoe that was kind of in that same ballpark as like the Reebok workouts? It was in that same realm, and that I remember everybody when I was really young, like the adults around me, it was like a big popular shoe with the Fila tracksuit. I just cannot remember the name of the shoe though.
The F14 or I'm not sure which one that would have been. I think it was those Fila lows, right, David? I'm pretty sure Nacho knows which one.
Probably the original tennis. Everybody rocked the original
it's like
tennis.
the original tennis. Yep.
Maybe that's the name. Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Fila tennis lows. Yeah. And then the F, I think the what is it, the FJ13s, I think, or I think that's what they're called, but they're built more like a mid and a strap. And they have a strap. They almost look like a Reebok workout, because they have like
that's the one. I was like,
yeah, and those are like kind of like the ones that like everybody wore too. Those were like the real popular ones. Yeah, but like I think, yeah, those are cool. I like those, but I don't know. I can't do it. You know what I mean? I can't. I own my Grant Hills. I got some Stack Houses too. I got some Stack, and I got like a old like drug dealer looking. It's called the Fila Targa. You know what I mean? So it looks really nice.
The dope boy shoe.
So how do you guys, obviously you got like you're talking about being into different shoes, but like how do you guys choose the videos that you do then?
Well, basically now I don't know if you've seen the channel, but we haven't uploaded in a minute. And that was mainly because COVID kind of put a fork in everything. Because believe it or not, I was going back like every other week to Fresno to film, because the only reason I'm hosting right now is because of COVID. Like I really don't. I like being in front of the camera, but I also don't. I prefer Nacho to be in front. So because of that, we've been really lacking in video ideas. But really now it's gotten to the point where we get people who just DM us like, "Yo, I noticed you haven't made a video about the Jordan 6. Can you do the Jordan 6? Yo, can you please do the Jordan 7?" And we'll get some people who are like so consistent with it that they're commenting, "Can you do this?" And then when we do it, like they'll comment like, "Yo, you finally made it." You know what I mean? And like for us, that's great. Like if the community wants to tell us like what video to make next, that's huge, because I don't want to be having to think about that, But as you saw, the last video that we made was a little bit of a departure from the sneaker history stuff, and it was more just like kind of like an opinions video or a conversation video about sneaker bots. And I really wanted to sort of go in that direction as opposed to the sneaker history videos. So for that video, for the last video, I guess Okay, so our sneaker history videos, it's gotten to the point where the community just tells us what they want.
Yeah.
And then for that last video I made, and for the I think for the videos going forth for a little bit, we're gonna mix in some sneaker history stuff. But now we have a Facebook group. It's called Sneaker Enthusiast. That's where we kind of seeded the podcast, and it's a closed group. It's 6,000 members only. It's on Facebook. If anybody watching this or listening to this, or if Nick or you or Mike wants to join, hit us up. It's a private group. You have to know somebody to be in it, and you have to have a link to it. But people like I don't know if you've been in a. I mean, it's the same as the Discord. I'm in the sneaker history Discord. Like today, somebody posted like, "Yo, like, I love this group, but we need to act more like adults. Like every time a shoe releases, all I see is people whining, and all I see is people like complaining, and we need to be grown-ups and stuff. And I'm tired of every weekend seeing all these memes about L's. Just this dude that was complaining, right? And it got a huge reaction. Like the entire like group, I see the insights, and it says this post reached like 4,700 people, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shoot, like I need to make a video about like, I don't know. I gotta be creative and be like, we need to make a video about like, the problem with the complaining. I don't know. Let's just make one up now. We'll do like a, why sneakerheads complain so much or something like that. The problem with complaining about L's, sneakerheads and mental health. I don't know, something, right? Or so
it all goes together.
Yeah, so like you just sort of like pay attention to what people are reacting to, and what you could really like talk about, like that people care about. Like you just got to be of course you're being selfish. Making a YouTube video is already selfish, but you got to be kind of unselfish too in a way. Like as much as I love like the ZX8000s and the Adidas Special stuff, and I plan to make a video about that stuff, I know that my audience doesn't care about that. You know, they care more about like highs and mids and stuff like that. And like, we got to make sure they're satiated, because we make videos for them as much as we make them for ourselves, is what I'm saying. And then that's where I would start. At that point, I would start bouncing stuff off Nacho. And even sometimes he'll react to it like, nah, I don't want to do a video about that. Like, we shouldn't do a video about that. And sometimes even for me, that's even more like a reason to do it. Or
I'm gonna do it anyway.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Pretty much all the time.
That's all the time. But for real, like he's he's kind of like an OG. So when he like sometimes I'll be really outlandish about it. And like back in the day when we were doing the Ross Find stuff, I would definitely be like, yo, we got to do more reseller stuff, dude. Like we got to show people we got to do a tutorial on how to show comps on eBay, and we got to do this. And I didn't really understand the culture, because like like I said, I was a musician, and then I transitioned into this. And David's been into this in a long time. He'd be like, dude, you can't do that, bro. Like you're trying to, I remember he would like send me like voice messages being like, yo, bro, you're going to make me look like a clown out here in these streets. You know what I mean? Like I got a reputation out here, bro. Like we can't be making videos about, like
I can't
reselling boots. And and like, so that also keeps me in check too, because sometimes I will go a little too like extreme. So that's where it starts. It starts from either the community telling us what the community is reacting to, wherever that community is, either on YouTube or in our Facebook group, and then whether David has an idea or whether I have an idea. Like Nacho has a lot of good ideas too. Like he always, like some of those history videos are his. Like the New Balance 990 one was all him. He's always giving me ideas and stuff for videos and for podcasts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's community driven. Go ahead, Nacho.
It's just like, for me, it's one of those things where like, authenticity is important to me. I'm not trying to come across as a cornball. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to come across as a know-it-all either, but at the same time, I just don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? That just in it just for the hype or for the fame or for the clout. Like I don't want to be on the flavor of the month if that's not really my flavor, just to say I'm in here. You know, that's the whole reason why I got into sneakers and why I got into clothes or whatever you want to call it is to be different. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way I roll. And sometimes my brother will try to make me do things that they're trying to do. You know, but I'll do it, I guess, to a point because as I don't want to come across as a grumpy old man either, though. You know, it's hard not to, but man, sometimes it's just like, dude, I'm not feeling. You know, I'm not. You would never see me in a pair of Chunky Dunkies. I don't care how rare they are or how much the reason. Like it's just not happening. You know, I just can't do it.
Nah, you can turn it into like 100 shoes at Ross.
These, but it's just I'm not doing those. You know? Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. Like I mean, I'll like a Vans Vault or something just real low key. I'm cool with that.
Yep.
But my brother's like, nah, we got to get the attention of the masses and blah blah. And I'm just like, I guess. You know what I mean?
No, it's hard to balance that because you're like, man, I don't even want to deal with this shoe. You're like, I know it's gonna get the clicks.
It is true though. Like that's something that's interesting.
Like the hard part for me is doing things because it just I don't know I don't know, like, don't you like I'm phony if I'm out here, like, you know what I mean, like I don't know, like I want to say exactly how I feel about certain things, and especially when it comes to sneakers, I want to be able to, this is garbage. I don't know where you guys got this was cool, but in my personal opinion, I don't like it, yeah.
Dude, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah,
that's the way
yeah.
Give them a real opinion.
Yeah, I just want to stay true to the game. You know what I mean? If there is any game to be true to, but that, right? When I die, tell them I was true.
So okay, we're about to hit an hour, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But I have my one last question is, like you mentioned, Brian, and I'm sure Nacho being on the camera facing side, you mentioned like kind of how you just get tired of doing the same thing. So like, how do you guys stay interested in it? Like what, like obviously, getting to see the 100,000 is a big accomplishment. Congratulations on that. But like, how do you keep that? How do you keep mentally interested in it?
Thank you.
Committed to it.
I wish I could tell you. We're in the process of it right now. There's things that help for me creatively. Like, I'm still trying to like learn how to really take a day off, and like learn how to not like stress about like, oh, the next video, or damn, 2 weeks gone by and I haven't uploaded. So I wish I could tell you. I don't know. Like that stuff weighs on you. Like trying to come up with something new all the time, and plus COVID. I think because I have my brother, and soon we'll be able to hang out and be together and stuff. And I think if you're making videos with somebody else, like I am with my brother, kind of like how Fomer and Young Buckets do it, like you just gotta reconnect, hang out, bounce ideas, like just kind of spill your guts, empty out your worries, I guess, and just be like, yo, this is how I'm feeling, this is what we should do. And you just got to make sure that you're excited about what it is that you're doing, because like I said, it takes, even if you're just making vlogs, or if you're making live content like this, or if you're making the history videos like we are, or whatever it is that you're doing, it takes a lot of effort, like to record it, to film it, to edit it. And I don't care who you are, like even if you're filming with your phone, like recently on the podcast, we had our good friend Dr. Souls on. I don't know if you guys know Dr. Souls on YouTube. Like he was kind of growing. He's a doctor, and he has like a massive collection, and he would film with his phone, and he used to make like super edited videos like us too. And eventually he went to like more of a raw style.
Yeah. And
even then he was still like having trouble like coming up with stuff, and the pressure of just having to upload every every damn week or whatever it is the goals you've set for yourself. And I guess just don't be too hard on yourself. And like I said, we're still figuring it out. But it's definitely not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like if you hit a roadblock, just do something else. I mean, for me, like I said, I like to do other things, like photography and stuff. And yeah, just talk to your friends. Talk to your friends. You know, get excited again about whatever it is. Like get excited about sneakers again. Read about your favorite sneaker. You know, or watch another YouTuber or something. Just gotta get excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like, okay, let's say like I'm gonna record a podcast with my brother. Like I'll listen to hella podcasts before I do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won't listen to hella podcasts and then make the video because I don't know, because I'm just pumped about podcasts.
Yeah, in a different mindset.
I'm in a different mindset. Or sometimes like I'll make beats for the videos or for the podcast or something like that. Like I'll get pumped like listening to music or watching videos on music. And you kind of just got to like you got to have an input and output, right? Like you got to have those moments where you're just inputting all this stuff into you and then output, you know. I can't like, you know, watch videos about music and then go into sneakers. Like I need to have like a good, I need to marinate in whatever it is I'm going to be making.
Yep.
Well, at least I'm going to attempt to make, because sometimes it's just a blank page and that's fine too. And another thing I found with any kind of creative work is you just got to make whatever it is you can, like, just, if I know YouTube, it's more of like a statement, you know, one video is really a body of work and it's a heavier thing, at least for me. And for I mean, for most YouTubers, it's not like an Instagram post or something. It's more of a bigger thing. But so I know this is hard to do for YouTube, but just make something, even if it's whack, and you put it out, it gets no views, and then what? Like you just go on to the next, and eventually you'll hit. Like David said, like with the champion video, it only got like 700 views, and it stayed that way for like 4 months, and then all of a sudden it just mushroomed, and like we got 400,000 views like in 3 days or something. So it was 500, whatever. It was painful because I put so much work into that video, and like the comments we were getting were so like mean about my voice, like yo, so monotone and boring and stuff. And like so when it got 500 videos and I saw the comments about it, I was like, yo, that shit is whack. I'm not making those kind of videos anymore. That sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to make, but it ended up being like the change we had to make, and it ended up leading to our, I guess, you know, our success, 100,000 subscribers because of that. So you never know. Like, you never know with this shit. Just make something. If you've been thinking about making it, if you got an idea, just try it, put it out. Don't worry about it so much. And then, and you just got to keep making stuff. Eventually you'll churn something out. And the more you make it, for the first time you make it to the last time you make it, you're always going to be better on your last one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What about you, David?
I'm pretty basic, man. I really could give, like, you know, I don't really care what people think. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just splat it out there. You know what I mean? I'm very raw like that. You know what I mean? I sleep good at night, regardless of whether I'm popular or I'm not popular, whether I'm trending or I'm not trending. You can tell by the stupid stuff that I post on my IG and stuff like that. I just throw it out there. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like if they don't like it, then they don't like it. If they like it, they like it. You know what I mean? Like you're either with me or you're not. But anyways, just keep pushing. You know what I mean? Eventually something's gonna crack. If you're good enough, or you put your heart and soul into something and you continue to stay consistent with it, I think that, you know what I mean, that you'll go places, you know, as far as like the videos and stuff like that. I mean, anybody can slap a video up, you know what I mean? You just gotta put your own stamp on it. That's the way I see it, you know. That's the way I see it. So that's my quick little, you know what I mean, plug right there.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to come on and chat with us. You know, it's been awesome. I think like it's just super dope to hear this too. Like this last couple minutes, even, because I've been doing this stuff in some way, shape, or form for 20 years now, And
Right.
and like to Brian, to your point about the comments and like, you know, having to figure out how to let that stuff roll off you and disappear and, you know, disappear from your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I use this as an example in another conversation, but I'm going to say it again. I've helped a lot of these people along the way. I've been a part of massive things, and it's been such a great learning experience for me. But I've always been kind of behind the scenes for the most part. And, you know, in the last few years, trying to do more, but still, like, I've got my work during the day that, you know, I got to pay the bills with. All this stuff out here is just like me trying to be more a part of what you guys are doing, what Mike's doing, what all these people do in the sneaker community. So with the podcast, I, especially with getting the comments about your voice, I always say and I always say like, and I say it a lot. And it's something that I'm aware of, that I'm consciously trying to be better at. And part of it is doing the podcast is helping me with that. But I walked into a very well-known store down there in LA when I was living down there. And I'm not going to roll anybody under the bus. But I walked into the store and started talking to somebody about kicks behind the counter and blah, blah, blah. A dude came out from behind the counter and said, "Hey, you got a podcast, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, sneaker history, you know." And he's like, "Yeah, you say like all the time. I recognize you because I say it." And honestly, like, at first I was like, I didn't actually even get it. And my girlfriend was with me, and she's like, afterwards we talked about it a little bit. And it was like, I'm saying it again. It's like, I don't give a shit at this point. I might say like 1,000 times in a video, but the content that I'm delivering, I hope that you like that, right? Like, that's the goal. Like, and it's a tough thing, right? You know, like, honestly, I'm going to try to be more like Nacho, right? Like, not give a shit about it, because that's the toughest part about creating and putting it out there. And it's a lot, right? Like, whether we know it or not, or whether we realize it, there's so many people that potentially see this stuff, especially as you guys grow, that it is just important to find a way to get past that, to a way to like you said, intake and output, right? Like, and I really admire that, because that's something that a lot of people don't just, you know, you can break it down to something as that simple. It really can be super helpful for people that are looking at all of us on the internet thinking like, I want to do that someday. And I'm thankful for you guys for hopping on with us tonight, and, you know, having this conversation. I look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future, and hopefully we can figure out ways to collaborate as well.
Yeah, man.
And definitely let me know when the Fila was my Gucci shirt, because I'm 100% in on that.
Yo, that's a creative idea right there. That all came from my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He said, working on it now.
Yeah. So
hell yeah.
I appreciate you you having us on. Like I said, this was a no-brainer.
Nick, as always. You hear me?
Thank you, bro. Shout out to
you
Megatron and everybody who was commenting too. Thank you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Well, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, tuning in. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
See you.
Peace. Keep in touch. Go Clippers.
Peace.